Boys, I know it's still March, but they've already released the new story mode fragment farming list. So you know your boy had to go and update the spreadsheet. It's already up to date. And I'm going to take you through all of the characters that are featured this time around so you guys can see what you should be planning on doing and who you should be planning on building up if you're trying to get the most out of your story mode fragment farming for April, which I know we're still in March, but it's technically April. And if you're wondering why you should focus on this kind of content at all, you just got to check out some of the videos that I've dropped. Commander has dropped, Beast Mode has dropped, so many other people, Forgo, etc., where they open up tons of these chests, because this is where you get the infinite tier 3 material loop from. This is where you get to get every character with, you know, rank 3 or rank 4 type enhancement by default. This is where you can get CTPs, premium cards, Odin's Blessings, etc. So let's get into it here first, looking at the actual spreadsheet. We're going to go through and just highlight characters that are featured multiple times. If they're just featured once, it's not a big deal. I know I haven't updated the total appearances yet. Don't kill me for that. But yeah, Arrow is featured twice this month. Ares is featured twice as well, so it's kind of a bad start for premium characters. Betsy is featured twice. That's okay. Echo is featured twice. Again, premium. Gambit's featured twice. Gwenpool featured not once, not twice, but 3 times. That kind of sucks. I'll double check here. I don't think she's not the leadership on 10-2, but I'm not sure about 7-1 and 7-3, because if she is, then you're going to want to... she's not for 7-1 and she's not for 7-3. So yeah, you actually don't... You just need to get her to tier 3. You don't need to get her uniform at all, because she won't be in the leadership position. She won't be the one actually battling. So her not having a uniform does not matter. So don't get FOMO'd into the premium uniform there. And then we have Human Torch featured 3 times. This is excellent, amazing character, free. Iron Hammer featured 3 times. This is the first time he can be featured. But yeah, this kind of sucks, but he's not a bad character. Like, it could be worse. It could be like Caecilius or something like that. As bad as Iron Hammer is compared to some other characters, he can carry. He can carry a little bit, so we'll talk about that a little bit later when I show you the testing that I did on these stages, like 12-2. Juggernaut featured twice, Kingo featured twice, Kitty featured twice, Loki featured twice. Again, 2 free-to-play, 2 paywall. You kind of see the pattern. Mephisto featured 3 times. This one sucks, but I believe he's the only native tier 3 featured at all this month, so no Gore, no Null, and no... Sentry, which is very good, and Mephisto's still the best for PvE content out of the 4, I would say. Everybody else featured once here, all the way down to Rogue, who's featured 3 times. Again, excellent, long time powerhouse in the sort of free-to-play department, very popular along with Human Torch. Scream featured twice for the first time ever, so that's pretty cool. Scourge featured 3 times, which absolutely sucks, and we'll address that in the team setup in just a minute here. Thing featured twice, Venom featured twice, and then that is it. So the one thing I can highlight from this month, besides the featured 2 and 3 time characters, is that there are very few bad characters. The ones that are transcended with no uniform, the Caeciliuses, the Cleas, etc., the Angelas. There's very few of those characters featured this month, and the ones that are featured this month are not usually featured in the leadership position, which is very, very good. But yeah, if we go through and see here, we do have a couple of question mark stages. I thought 2-2 could be an issue here with Nova lead, because he doesn't have any healing by default. And then on 4-1, I had issues. I had doubts about Nadia being able to clear that stage. And then 6-2, I had doubts about Wave. 7-1, I had doubts about Ares. And then on the flip side here for 10-2, I had doubts about Red Guardian. You can see I cleared these stages already, so I'll be able to tell you in just a minute how they went. I had doubts on 12-2 about Iron Hammer, and then on 13-1 and 13-3, I had doubts about the whole team for 13-3, but also for Colossus on 13-1. Now, to construct the best possible team for this month of story mode fragment farming, you do need to address the fact that Scourge is featured multiple times in the leadership position, which is really bad. And then also Caecilius is featured in the leadership position somewhere as well. I can't remember exactly what stage it was, but I believe it's here, somewhere around here, somewhere Caecilius is featured in the leadership position. So right away, you want to put Caecilius on the left, and you want to put Scourge on the right, or whatever, vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But you just want to make sure that those two characters are not going to be fighting. That's that. Then you address the stages that I talked about. On 2-2, Nova cleared it decently well. You just need like a decent build here. I'll show you my build really quickly so you guys can see. I am rank 800. You know, we have the Uru here. I should probably move my camera back. We have the Uru here. We end up having an obelisk. We have his artifact, and then we have a crit damage or a crit rate cold damage 140 proc obelisk. What I will say for some of these characters that are featured for story mode that don't have heals is there are new obelisks you can roll that have a heal on them. They have a heal that ticks multiple times. Like this one, for example, recovers 8% of HP for 3 seconds. That's 24% HP spread out. These are not bad. These are honestly not bad if you have Pierce and if your characters are not dealing, you know, if your characters are not struggling to clear, they're just struggling to make it all the way to the end with the ticky-tacky damage they can take from tornadoes and poison clouds and stuff like that. Those obelisks might be a good alternative to something like a damage proc. It's going to take you longer to clear, but it's going to make your clears a lot safer. But yeah, Nova was fine on 2-2. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. Similarly, Nadia was really good on 4-1. Honestly, decent build required here, but you can see my build. Again, just a dodge, a 160 proc, nothing special. I have a 3-star version of her artifact, you know, fully unawakened ISO set. Barely any Uru. This is not a good build. I'm rank 900, and she still got it done. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with her. We don't need to address any of them or either of them on the teams. Wave also crushed this stage with an Insight CTP, so again, easy clear. Ares crushed this stage. You don't have to worry about him at all. And then really, Red Guardian was an easy clear as well in the True Shield. Really, the only ones that you might need to worry about is Iron Hammer, having a decent build on him. Just because of the Odin boss after Searcher. Now, I do have a CTP of Judgment on mine with a 3-star artifact. So, yeah, if you don't have a build on him at all, you're going to want to build him up a little bit. I don't know if you're going to have to go this crazy. I don't think you're going to have to give him a CTP. But it is something to keep in mind because the auto play does not feature his 3rd skill very often. So he doesn't heal himself, even if he's taking damage. So the good news is that for basically 99% of the stages this month, you can put any leadership you want. So I put Blue Marvel here, but you can actually put anyone you want. And that's especially good for players who don't have every tier 3 and every transcended character, because you can pick maybe your fastest character or you know, whoever speed clears for you, your whatever level 80s you have, etc. And then you can have them run through for any of the stages where you're missing a character. And then if you position the team like this, then you'll never lose the stages where Caecilius or Scourge would otherwise screw you over, okay? So that's a really important thing. We don't have any issues with stages in the Chapter 11 being used or, you know, the leaderships being taken up by characters who don't have elemental damage. You do need to make sure that you have Iron Hammer built, and you have to have Miles' newest uniform, but that sort of goes without saying. However, the one stage, because I did say 99%, the one stage that is basically impossible, unfortunately, is 13-3. I ran the stage with Mystique. She died to Thanos. I ran the stage with Scream. She died to Thanos. I ran the stage with Blue Marvel. He died to Thanos. So, yeah. You can do whatever you want on this stage. There isn't really a best option. I'm going to go ahead and run Blue Marvel, and then I'm just going to pay attention on 13-3 and switch when he's about to die or when Thanos is about to do the slam after the meteors. I'll switch to Scream, and then she'll use her Awakening skill and kill him. Another strategy you can do is just, you know, do a little bit of damage with Blue Marvel, switch to Mystique, she pops her Awakening, does a bunch of damage, then switches to Scream, she pops her Awakening, does a bunch of damage, and hopefully that kills him. But yeah, unfortunately, this month, even with a very good build, it is very difficult to tank Thanos with this team here. So, yeah. Blue Marvel struggles despite a build that has a mighty CTP of Authority. Yes, he still gets one shot. And the other two are just much weaker defensively, so I do not expect them to survive. The only other option I can see is if you maybe build Scream. If you really stack her, there is a possibility that you can one-shot him with your Awakening skill at the beginning, but I think it's going to also have to line up with your proc, which may not work. And it also might, like, she sometimes when you run through the autoplay, she just uses the Awakening skill right before the Thanos fight, which means you have to wait 30 seconds, so it doesn't actually line up. So yeah, that's really the only stage. Otherwise, this month is excellent for farming, right? No bullshit characters, no bullshit like you need multiple teams because there's multiple stages that have shitty leadership characters. I also tested, for what it's worth, I tested Colossus on 13.1. He takes a long time. He takes a long time, no doubt, but he clears it easily here, and my build is not that special. The only thing special about my build, I'm using an insight, is that I do have a 6-star version of his artifact, but he didn't even take any damage, so the healing isn't really necessary. But yeah, just keep that in mind in case you don't have any version of his artifact. But yeah, that's it for this month. I'm very happy aside from 13.3. I just think they need to start putting better characters here specifically, because this stage is well above, the difficulty spike. Every other stage, the difficulty is about here, right? It goes up maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit to here, right? But it's very low. It's very low. And then the spike on 13.3 against Thanos is like this. The rest of the stage, 13.3, is not difficult. It's not the stage that's difficult. It's the Thanos boss. He's super tanky. He has an iframe phase where he dodges you and goes into the center so he can interrupt your attacks. He rains meteors down that penetrate. He has a slam that's purple that penetrates, and he has a slam after the meteors that's also purple that also penetrates. So the difficulty spike is insane. Sometimes it's even difficult to do it on manual, like manually controlling the characters. So that's pretty nuts. But yeah, besides 13.3, you can basically just cruise through the rest of it this month. And so the team is very flexible. Outside of Caecilius on one side and Scourge on the other side, you can put whoever lead you want. So happy farming. Smash the like button. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.